Ma'am, you need to step back, now.
They need medical attention. I'm staying.
This area is secured. You have to move.
I'm a physician. I can't leave them.
ID, badge.
In my car. I came straight in.
Step away now or I'll detain you.
Officer Daniel Mercer had no idea what he just walked into. In the next 14 minutes, he would be removed from the scene, he would be placed on leave, and he would end up sentenced to 19 years in federal prison. His crimes were civil rights violations and blocking emergency medical care. The woman he threatened to arrest, Dr. Keisha Williams, she was a trauma surgeon with 17 years of experience. She wasn't just any doctor. She used to be the chief of emergency medicine at St. Luke's Hospital. She trained Army combat medics for war zones overseas. That morning, she was just dropping off her nephew at school. Then she heard gunfire. While everyone else ran away, she ran toward the screaming. And the body cameras on 3 other officers were recording everything. Before I continue, let me ask you something. Have you ever been treated like you don't belong somewhere you had every right to be? Drop your answer in the comments. But Officer Mercer had no idea who he was threatening to arrest. Dr. Keisha Williams was 44 years old. She had been saving lives for almost 2 decades. She went to medical school at Howard University. She did her training at Johns Hopkins, one of the best hospitals in the country. For years, she ran the emergency room at St. Luke's Regional Hospital. She stepped down from that job so she could focus on surgery. But here's what made her special. She served as a captain in the Army Reserve. She trained combat medics who went to Afghanistan. She wrote research papers on how to save the most lives when disasters happen. She knew exactly what to do when people were bleeding and dying. That Tuesday morning was supposed to be simple. Her nephew Marcus was 9 years old. He went to Jefferson Elementary. Every Tuesday, Dr. Williams drove him to school because her sister worked early. She had just dropped him off. She was walking back to her car, then she heard the first shots. She didn't run to safety. She ran toward the gunfire. 15 minutes later, she would be kneeling in a child's blood, fighting to keep him alive. And a police officer would try to arrest her for it. Officer Daniel Mercer had a pattern. His department had been ignoring it for years. He was 38 years old. He had been a cop in Ridgewood for 12 years, and in those years, 7 people had filed formal complaints against him. Every single complaint involved a black resident. Every single one was dismissed as unfounded. Now here's where it gets worse. In 2017, he stopped a black attorney outside his own home. He made him prove he lived there. The man was detained for 45 minutes. No discipline for Mercer. In 2019, he handcuffed a black nurse who was leaving work in her hospital scrubs. He said she matched a description. He got a written warning, that's it. In 2021, he dragged a black pastor out of a community meeting. He said the pastor was being disruptive. The complaint was dismissed. In 2022, he stopped the same black teenager 4 times in 3 months. No action was taken. Internal Affairs flagged him twice. The police union protected him both times. The officers who worked with him knew about his reputation. Some of them had reported him themselves. Nothing ever happened. On March 14, 2023, Officer Mercer's pattern would finally catch up with him. Because this time, there were cameras everywhere. This time, children's lives were on the line. And this time, he picked the wrong person to threaten. Type accountability in the comments if you think 7 complaints should have been enough. It was Tuesday, March 14, 2023. The time was 8:47 in the morning. Jefferson Elementary School sat in Ridgewood, a suburb of about 45,000 people. It was a normal Tuesday. Parents were dropping off kids. Teachers stood at the entrance saying good morning. Car doors were closing. Children were laughing. Dr. Williams had dropped Marcus at the front door at 8:41. She kissed his forehead. She watched him walk inside. Then she headed back to her car in the visitor lot. She was checking her phone. She had surgery scheduled that afternoon. She wanted to see what time she needed to be at the hospital. At 8:47, the first shots rang out inside the building. Parents froze, then they started screaming. Some grabbed their phones, some ran to their cars, some just stood there in shock. Dr. Williams did none of those things. She turned around and ran straight toward the school. She found a teacher at a side door. She told her she was a doctor. The teacher let her in. The first patrol car arrived at 8:53. Officer Daniel Mercer was behind the wheel. By 8:55, more units were showing up. The scene was chaos. Nobody was in charge yet. And inside the building, Dr. Williams was already fighting to save lives. If stories like this matter to you, hit that subscribe button right now. Dr. Williams found 3 wounded children in the east hallway. One of them was an 8-year-old boy named Jalen. A bullet had hit his leg. It had nicked an artery. Blood was pumping out of the wound. Dr. Williams dropped to her knees. She pressed down hard on the wound with both hands. She told a teacher to grab her sweater. She tied it around his leg as a tourniquet. She knew the truth. If she let go, this boy would bleed to death in minutes. That's when Officer Mercer came through the door. "Ma'am, you need to clear this area. I'm helping these kids. They're hurt. I don't care what you're doing. This is a crime scene. I'm a doctor. I'm treating them." Mercer looked at her, a black woman in regular clothes, hands covered in blood, kneeling over a wounded child. Okay, sure, where's your badge, your ID?" "It's in my car. I ran straight here when I heard the shots." "Step away from the victims, or I'm placing you under arrest." Dr. Williams stayed calm. "This child will die if I move my hands." "That's not your problem. EMTs are coming." "EMTs aren't here. I am. I'm a trauma surgeon." Mercer didn't care. He grabbed her arm. He tried to pull her away from Jalen. She wouldn't move. She kept pressing on the wound. The little boy was crying. He was holding her other hand. "You're interfering with a police operation," Mercer said. A teacher stepped forward. Her name was Patricia Okonkwo. She had been at Jefferson for 23 years. "She's a doctor," Mrs. Okonkwo said. "She's saving him." "Back off," Mercer told her. Another officer came through the door. Her name was Sarah Chen. She looked at the scene. She saw the blood. She saw the tourniquet. She saw a woman who clearly knew what she was doing. But Mercer was still focused on Dr. Williams. He had his hand on her shoulder. He was reaching for his handcuffs. A parent named David Hartman was standing in the doorway. He had followed the officers in. His phone was recording everything. Dr. Williams kept her hands on Jalen's leg. She wasn't going to let him die, not for anyone. But wait until you hear what happened next. Officer Sarah Chen walked closer. She looked at Dr. Williams and asked a simple question. "What do you need?" Dr. Williams answered without looking up. She used medical terms. She talked about blood loss and pressure points and arterial damage. She told Chen exactly what the EMTs would need to know. Chen recognized it right away. This woman wasn't pretending. She was the real thing. Chen grabbed her radio. She told dispatch to send EMTs to the east hallway first. She said there was a trauma surgeon on scene providing care. Mercer interrupted her. "I'm handling this." Mrs. Okonkwo spoke up again. "She's Dr. Williams, Marcus Williams' aunt. She's a surgeon." Another parent in the hallway heard her. "That's Dr. Williams from St. Luke's. She operated on my husband last year." Mercer looked at them. Then he looked back at Dr. Williams. "And here's the moment that ended his career. I don't care if she's the Surgeon General." 3 body cameras caught him saying it. David Hartman's phone caught it too. A school security camera in the hallway caught the whole thing. Mrs. Okonkwo had been helping Dr. Williams since the beginning. Later, she would tell investigators exactly what happened. "She ran in while everyone else ran out. She's been keeping pressure on Jalen's leg this whole time. If she stops, he bleeds out. That's what she told me." Officer Chen would also testify. I knew immediately she was the most qualified person in that hallway. Her hands were steady, her instructions were clear. She was saving that boy's life. David Hartman kept recording. His video was 4 minutes long. You can hear Mercer's threats clearly. You can see Dr. Williams never taking her hands off the wound. At 9:02, Sergeant Teresa Maldonado arrived on scene. She was a 20-year veteran. She walked into the hallway and saw everything in seconds. A wounded child on the ground, a woman applying pressure to stop the bleeding, a tourniquet made from a sweater, and Officer Mercer trying to arrest the person keeping the kid alive. "Step back, Mercer," she said. "Secure the perimeter." Mercer tried to argue. She doesn't have credentials. She could be anyone. Maldonado cut him off. "She's keeping that child alive. Step back now." The EMTs arrived at 9:04. Dr. Williams gave them a professional handoff. She told them everything: vital signs, blood loss, how long she'd been applying pressure, what the wound looked like. The EMTs knew her right away. "Dr. Williams, from St. Luke S., thank God you were here." You can see the moment on Mercer's body camera. His face changes. He finally understands what he's done. Jalen Torres was 8 years old. The bullet had nicked his femoral artery. That's the big artery in your leg. Without help, he had maybe 3 or 4 minutes. Dr. Williams had been keeping him alive for 11 minutes when the EMTs arrived. She saved his life, and Officer Mercer had tried to stop her. Let me know in the comments, what would you have done if Omion tried to stop you from saving a child? Dr. Williams walked with Jalen to the ambulance. Her hands were covered in blood. Her whole body was shaking from the adrenaline, but she stayed with him until the EMTs took over. The EMTs treated her like a colleague. They gave her updates. They thanked her for the tourniquet. They told her Jalen was going to make it. Meanwhile, Sergeant Maldonado ordered Mercer to perimeter duty. She took him off the building entirely. That same day, Maldonado filed an incident report. The body camera footage was flagged for review. By 11 a.m., the chief of police knew what had happened. The investigation moved fast. In the first 3 days, Internal Affairs reviewed all the footage. They collected statements from 14 witnesses. They verified Dr. Williams' credentials. That part took 10 minutes. The hospital confirmed she was one of their top trauma surgeons. The Army confirmed she was a former captain who trained combat medics. Then investigators looked at Mercer's claims. Claim 1, she wouldn't identify herself properly. Reality, body cam shows her saying, "I'm a doctor," twice in the first 30 seconds. Claim 2, she was interfering with police operations. Reality, she was providing life-saving care. No police medical personnel were on scene yet. Claim 3, she was being uncooperative. Reality, she explained that moving her hands would kill the child. The footage proves it. Claim 4, I was following protocol. Reality, no protocol says to remove a doctor from active life-saving treatment. Day 1, Mercer was placed on leave. Day 4, the Department of Justice opened a federal civil rights investigation. Week 2, all of Mercer's old complaints were reopened. Week 3, he was fired from the Ridgewood Police Department. Month 2, federal charges were filed. Mercer tried to fight back at first. He said he was just doing his job. The police union supported him. Then the video went viral. The union backed away. Mercer tried a new approach. He claimed the investigation was biased against him because he was white. That backfired immediately. Everyone could see his record. 7 complaints, all involving black residents, all dismissed. Dr. Williams went back to work within a week. When reporters asked her about it, she kept it simple. "I did what any doctor would do." She turned down most interviews. She wanted to focus on Jalen's recovery. But the consequences for Mercer were just beginning. If you want to see more stories where people face real consequences, hit subscribe right now. At 9:47 that same morning, David Hartman uploaded his video to Facebook. His caption said, "Cop tried to arrest doctor saving kids at Jefferson Elementary." By 11 a.m., the video had 50,000 views. Local news stations were calling him for interviews. By 1 p.m., the video was everywhere: Twitter, Reddit, TikTok, 500,000 views combined. By 6 p.m., national news picked it up. CNN, MSNBC, Fox, everyone was running segments. By midnight, 8 million people had watched it. The next day, the police department released the body camera footage. They said they wanted to be transparent, but it only made things worse. Now people could see everything from 3 angles. 15 million more views. By day 3, the story had gone international. BBC covered it, The Guardian covered it, Al Jazeera covered it. The hashtag was everywhere, "Justice for Dr. Williams." People were angry. One comment got almost 250,000 likes. She ran toward gunfire to save children, and he tried to arrest her. Another one hit almost 200,000. A black woman saves kids during a school shooting, and a cop treats her like a suspect. America in one video. Doctors across the country started their own hashtag, "Doctors Stand with Dr. Williams." It trended for 3 days. The chief of police held a press conference on day 2. She apologized. She promised a full investigation. On day 4, she promised complete transparency and accountability. Mercer tried to control the story. He gave one interview to a local radio station. He said he was following his training. Then they played a clip of him saying, "I don't regret my actions." That clip went viral too, for all the wrong reasons. He deleted all his social media within 48 hours. Comment below and tell me, did his sentence match what he did? 2 months after the shooting, federal prosecutors filed charges against Daniel Mercer. Count 1, taking away someone's civil rights while acting as a police officer. Count 2, blocking emergency medical care. Count 3, threatening a witness. That was for what he said to Mrs. Okonkwo, the teacher. If found guilty on all counts, he faced up to 25 years in prison. The state added more charges: assault for grabbing Dr. Williams, official misconduct, and reckless endangerment of a minor. That meant he put Jalen's life at risk. But the investigation found something even bigger. 7 of his old complaints were reopened. This time, investigators took them seriously. Every single one was proven true. They found 2 more incidents that were never reported. They found text messages where he made racist comments to other officers. They found a pattern of stopping black professionals in white neighborhoods. The department had failed to punish him for years. Dr. Williams filed a civil lawsuit 4 months after the shooting. She sued Mercer personally. She sued the police department. She sued the city of Ridgewood. She said they violated her civil rights. She said Mercer assaulted her. She said the city was negligent for not stopping him sooner. 14 months later, the federal trial ended. The jury found Mercer guilty on all 3 counts. The judge sentenced him to 19 years in federal prison. Here's what the judge told him: "Your actions endangered a child's life and violated the rights of a citizen who was doing nothing but saving lives." Mercer also pled guilty to some state charges as part of a deal. The civil case was settled. The city paid $4.2 million. The police union's insurance paid another $800,000. Total, $5 million. But money wasn't the only consequence. New policies were put in place: mandatory bias training, a civilian oversight board to review complaints. And Mercer, he lost his pension. He can never work as a police officer again. His wife divorced him during the trial. He was ordered to pay $175,000 to his victims. 3 supervisors who ignored his complaints were fired. The chief of police was forced to retire. The Department of Justice put Ridgewood under federal oversight for 5 years. Dr. Williams gave a statement after the verdict. "This isn't about me. It's about the next black doctor, nurse, or teacher who runs toward danger to help. They shouldn't have to prove they belong there." 18 months after the shooting, Dr. Williams stood at a podium inside St. Luke's Hospital. The civil case was settled. The cameras were rolling. She had something to say. "I've operated on gunshot victims for 17 years. I've seen things most people can't imagine, but nothing prepared me for being treated like a criminal while a child bled in my hands." She talked about the nightmares. She talked about always looking over her shoulder. She talked about knowing Jalen almost died twice that day, once from the shooter, once because an officer tried to stop her from saving him. "My nephew was in that building. I didn't know if he was safe, but I couldn't leave Jalen." Then she asked a question. "I had the credentials, I had the training, I had the experience to be believed. What about the teacher who was helping me? What about the parent who was recording? Would they have been arrested?" She paused. "If I didn't have doctor in front of my name, I might be in prison right now. Think about that." She thanked Mrs. Okonkwo for standing up. She thanked Officer Chen and Sergeant Maldonado for doing the right thing. She thanked David Hartman for recording. "You made sure the truth couldn't be buried." Then she said the words that everyone would remember. "I became a doctor to save lives. On March 14th, I almost lost the chance to do that. Not because of a shooter, but because of a uniform. We have to be better than this." This wasn't just about one bad cop. Studies show Black Americans are 3.5 times more likely to be stopped by police than white Americans. Black professionals are questioned about their credentials 4 times more often than white colleagues. Only 12% of police departments have mandatory bias training. Complaints about racial bias are proven true less than 2% of the time. Dr. Williams had everything going for her: education, status, cameras, support. Most people don't have all that. That's not justice, that's luck. So let me ask you, do we believe black professionals deserve the same respect as their white colleagues? Do we accept a system where 7 complaints get ignored until there's a viral video? Do we think someone should have to prove they're a doctor while a child bleeds out in their hands? Because if we don't fix the training that made Officer Mercer see a threat instead of a healer, if we don't change the systems that protected him through 7 complaints, if we don't challenge the assumptions that made him doubt a surgeon saving a child's life, then we're just waiting for the next Officer Mercer, the next Dr. Williams, the next Jalen Torres who might not be as lucky. Comment below if you believe 19 years was the right sentence, or if you think it should have been more. I want to hear from you. If you think stories like this matter, hit that subscribe button. We're going to keep exposing these patterns. We're going to keep demanding accountability. We're going to keep fighting for the doctors and nurses and teachers who run toward anger and deserve to be trusted when they get there. This isn't just about one officer in Ridgewood. It's about all of us. It's about the system we are willing to accept. And it's about whether we see people for who they are, not who we assume them to be. See you in the next one.